Welcome to this special edition of Talented Universe, the One Big Happy Family episode. We are
Yay.
so excited to have our special guest, and Liz will be introducing her. But first, I want to say hi to Marcia. Marcia, how are you doing this fabulous day with hopefully no hurricanes down there?
Well, there are a couple of things spinning out there in the Atlantic, unfortunately. So we have our fingers crossed, but I'm good for now and happy to be here.
Well, that's good. Liz, how are you?
I am actually doing great. Super excited for the interview. And you might have the thunderstorms and all, but right now we just got the lightning and the winds and very overcast. And I hope it stays that nothing hits because we're super dry up here in Sacramento. So, anyways, I had dying to introduce to you guys someone she might know this co-name, but I generally call her our basically co-creators sidekick, because I run a different organization here on Facebook that does a lot of the other programs that her husband does. But this one, I am so thrilled to introduce to you Lisa Brenner on her own with her very first movie that we are dying to talk about. Lisa, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so good. I like to be called the sidekick. That is so cute. I like that. Or muse. No,
Yeah.
Muse.
it used to be muse. Now I feel like it's more sidekick. I like it's
Well, you
cute.
have a very weird, creative family too. So it's like I wouldn't actually almost put you as a sidekick. More like you're definitely the other half of a tremendous. I wouldn't even say team. It's the whole family that's tremendous with this. But we know the movie is about kind of based loosely on your own backstory.
Yeah.
Can you give us kind of a rundown of how you were feeling when you first got your DNA results and what led to the movie?
Well, yes, it is based on, I say in the movie, it's based on a somewhat true story, but
Yeah, loosely based. Yeah.
it's a true story. When I was about 40, I took a DNA test for fun with my husband, and his results came out exactly everything he was told, and mine did not. And yeah, it was about 50% of what I was told about my lineage. And so I went on this wild journey to find out the truth of my DNA and who I am. And it is the craziest story. And you'll see when you see the movie that the things in it that seem like fiction, those are actually the true things. And the things that are like, just normal, those probably are the things that I just made up. So it's a conglomeration. It's not autobiographical, but it's definitely based on my own insane story.
Just some of the little things that I saw with it, I'm like, no, that couldn't have happened. And then I looked through my own history. I did kind of the same thing because I didn't know a lot of my history and like who my father was and things like that. So I went and did a DNA, and I was very surprised as well to find out it wasn't exactly everything I was told I would be.
Mhm.
So it was just it's a whole fascinating thing of different things that kind of come out of the woodwork that you're not expecting, and it's like a wild ride, and it's kind of a brain flip because you've been so hardwired since birth. You're this way, and now all of a sudden to find out you have other influences coming in that, oh, okay, maybe that's a hereditary thing that I got from somebody else or something.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the hugest things that I experienced personally because of all this. I realized all of the limitations I put on myself just subconsciously about who I am, and I'm like this because of so and so, and oh, I can't be this way because of so and so, and just all of that. And then suddenly when you only know half of your DNA and the other half is completely unknown, it's like, oh my God, I could be anything. Like literally,
mhm.
I could be anything. I could have any traits, good or bad. It was very empowering, I think, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then going forward, with all of this kind of spinning around in your head, and I'm going to assume at the age that you said, this probably you decided to go on this journey right around the pandemic, the start of COVID, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Um, and I know when you were back in college, you kind of had studied and majored, in English with kind of a side thing of, playwriting and script writing and things like that. What made you decide to write it? Because to my understanding, this is the first time you ventured into writing. You've done, the producing, and things like that, but you've never been a writer before.
Yeah. Well, I knew I had this huge story within me. And at first, I went to some screenwriting friends to see if they would write it. And one person tried. I'm like, oh, that's not how I would do it. And another person tried. I'm like, no, that's also not my humor. That's not what I'm going for. And then finally, my husband, Dean, said to me, no one is going to tell your story the way you want to besides you. Just do it. And it was pandemic and I had nothing else to do. So I decided to just sit down and write. And, the screenwriting format, it comes very naturally to me just because I've read like throughout my life, like hundreds of scripts. So it's just kind of, it's what I know. And so I didn't want to write it in novel form. I didn't want to write it as a play. And so, yeah, I had a screenwriting friend read it over for me. And I had like a lot of help along the way and helping me, mold the story. And yeah, so that's how it happened. It was really out of boredom, actually, and like me needing to do something because I was going out of my mind during the pandemic.
Oh, I can imagine, you seem to be a very active person involved in many different projects, not just necessarily locked down in your house.
Yeah,
And, with that kind of personality, and I have a similar personality, it would drove me insane. It's like, no, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. So I
exactly.
have a lot more questions for you, but for right now, I'm going to pass it to Marcia and let her take a run for it.
Thank you. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
When I read the premise of of your movie, One Big Happy Family, it resonated with me particularly. I'm born and raised in New York City, and
Mhm.
I think you were born on Long Island. Is that
Yes. Mhm.
different part? I was born in Harlem and raised in Queens.
Okay.
And so a lot of people don't think of Queens as Long Island, but it
It
is.
is. It is.
So do you mind my asking where in Long Island?
I was born and raised in Melville, Dix Hills.
Oh,
It's about
okay.
an hour east on the LIE, exit 50.
Yeah. And where does the movie take place? Does it take place in New York or?
There are some scenes where my mom is in Long Island
Mhm.
on the phone with me, but most of it takes place in Los Angeles, where
Okay.
we live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the cast? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Linda Lavin, who I'm old enough to have remembered her from things like Alice, and what a wonderful header of a cast. So can you
Yeah.
tell us about how she came to be involved in the project?
Yeah, well, it's so funny. Instagram actually suggested I follow her. It was just so random as I was writing the movie. It's like it's kind of scary that our technology like knows some stuff that we we don't. So
Hmm.
I started following her and just kind of learning about her as a person. She was constantly posting, she was constantly traveling, she was doing jazz performances in Europe. She was in her 80s, more energy than me. I'm like, this woman is so incredible. She's funny. She's like, she just, her personality came through on all of her posts, and I just fell in love with her. And so now I'm writing with her in mind. She has no idea. And so when it came to casting, I wrote her a letter and I sent it to her agent in New York. And she read it that day. And the next day we had a Zoom and she was like, I'm playing this part. And we became instant mother and daughter, like instant. It was incredible. Yeah, it was so meant to be.
It is wonderful how the streams of life bring us people if we're open to it. And I've watched the trailer. I haven't seen the movie. I'm going to wait to see it with everybody.
Okay.
How you can tell on screen just from the clips that you spark, and and then your sister, who was
Mm-hmm.
played by Kat Cunning, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. Now, how did Kat become involved in the?
She auditioned.
She
She
did.
auditioned and she was hilarious and amazing in her self-tape. And it was just one of those things where like everyone in the cast I was so lucky that
Hmm.
they found me and I found them because it was so meant to be. She was an instant friend of mine and hilarious. And she's a musician in real life, like very prolific. She writes her own music and performs. And at the end of the movie, in the credits, there's a special performance of
Oh,
hers of the
okay.
song that I wrote with my brother. And it's pretty hilarious.
Hmm.
And it's one of those little things you have to stick around for the credits to see.
I love that because I was raised to when you go see a movie, you stay until all the credits, you give everybody their honor, and then maybe you'll get a little treat at the end. So that's our treat at the end.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Thank you. Okay, Michael.
Yeah, Lisa. When I saw what the movie was about, I go, "Oh my!" And I'll tell you why. Because I found out for sure that I was adopted when I was 30 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I suspected it since I was in elementary school, but they never said anything to me.
Wow.
And I found out on the night my adoptive mom died because my dad was in horrendous state because of that. And he was talking to the nurse that was there, and he goes, "Michael was adopted, but we've never told him, but I think he knows."
Oh my gosh.
That's how I found out.
Wow.
And 3 years later, I found my birth mother because a friend of the family's said, "Did I want to know?" They said, "I didn't want to tell you when your mom was still alive," because, which made total sense from what they hadn't told me. So, but anyway, long story short, my birth mother wouldn't tell me who my birth dad was.
Oh my gosh.
So 30 years after that, I did a DNA test, and I found my birth father.
Wow.
Through finding relatives and piecing it together. I mean, that is one thing I will say, which I've said in another podcast, that some of those sites that you can look at family trees, if you know anything about family trees and how they work and genetics. And I had a little bit in 8th grade, so I had a little background in how the genetics work, so it helped me greatly. But I pieced together, I mean, I thought I'd found my father, but one little branch of that family didn't fit.
Wow.
And I talked to somebody that probably would have been my nephew, but I talked to his wife, and but I told her, I said, but something isn't right. There's this branch of the family that makes no sense that I was related to, like first cousins. And I finally found who it was, and I had to make a cold call to a phone number. So, because I was trying to get someone close in that family line to do the DNA test too.
Right.
I thought I was, at the time, I thought I was calling my birth father. It was not my birth father.
Okay.
It was his ex-wife.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
That's amazing. So you never actually got to meet your
I never got to meet my birth father because he had died.
Okay.
He had, and it was hysterical. He died the same year that my adoptive father did.
Oh my God.
Along with my birth grandfather, died the same year. I mean, that was bizarre.
Now
Okay.
Right. This movie.
I was going to say we have a foundation for number 2. a big family #2 and do Michael's story. And you can
Oh
write
yeah,
it.
I thought about it because
Perfect.
I have thought about it, and I did think about writing it once. I thought about writing a book because I mean it was so I had such weird experiences,
Oh my God.
but so when I saw that, I just went, oh my, that's just right up my alley.
Well, I think
But I don't want to go on about me because, but
it's
so
interesting.
I'm very interested. As I said, I was trying to see it early, but I couldn't, and I'm just excited to see what your story is because it just sounds kind of similar, but different too.
Yeah.
Because the DNA, I was told this by my birth mother's family that my dad was this, and no, that was all a lie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so much to say when you said, but it's
No, but as I
amazing.
said, I mean, you do. I mean, I found out so much from that genetics. I mean, all the problems that I had, I didn't know where they came from, health wise.
Yeah.
Found my birth mother. I found some of my issues. And then after I found my birth father and talked to his children that they'd had after me, I go, oh, well, that explains that. That explains that. That explains that.
So amazing.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
and it also makes you question nature versus nurture.
Yes.
Oh, that's a huge thing that I always end up talking to everyone about after watching my movie. Like, what makes us who we are? Who makes us who we are? It's really interesting. Is it genetics? Is it the people who raised us? Is it a combination of both?
I believe it's both because as when I saw the two situations, I could see that in me, but the way I was nurtured with my adoptive parents, I think it counteracted some of, I believe, this is just me, some of the genetics that I might have gotten. Some of it was counteracted, but boy, some of it can crop up when you don't expect it.
Gosh, it's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah. But going more on yours, after you wrote it, did you I don't remember if Liz went on to this, but did you want to make a movie or did Dean kind of just say, write it just to get it out of your system? But you wanted to make a movie?
I am so project oriented that I wrote this to be made. I wrote this. I wasn't doing it for my own personal growth. I wanted to do it to, make this movie. And I originally found these other investors with a different director, worked with them for about almost a year on the development. And then unfortunately, one of the lead investors passed away from COVID. So that fell apart. And so we scrambled to figure out how to get it made. And then Electric came on board and Lindley Productions came on board. And that's how it ultimately happened. And with the director I chose. And so it's been a journey, but no, it was definitely me pushing Dean. Like, I don't think Dean likes to work with me. It's very
too close to home.
Yeah, because I'm a force to be reckoned with, and so is he. So, no, he's an incredible partner on mine creatively. And it's something we've always known. We met working, so it's just we've always had a really good professional relationship as well as our person.
Well, that's good. I just want to tell people in the chat room, it doesn't look like our comments are working very well. So just take that in mind. We're trying to get it fixed, so please understand that. My last little statement, question, or whatever observation is, after doing this one, would you want to do another one, maybe on a different subject, different movie? Yeah.
Yeah, I've already written two other features in the same in the time before this.
Really? Oh, before this one even got me. Oh,
Yeah, so I have some things, other projects in the works. And also in between that, I wrote and produced and directed 2 shorts. So yeah,
you have been busy.
I'm busy.
Well, that is
The
great
mind's
that
very
you.
active.
Yes, I'm excited about that. I'm going to go back to Liz since I've stole some of her thunder, I believe. But go ahead and go back to Liz. Yeah.
Yeah, that last question you snagged from me, but I'm used to that. going back to some of the stuff that we had originally talked about with your creating of the movie. How long did it take from when you started to do the concept and sat down and started to write to when you finished? How long did that project take?
I would say, well, from the beginning of my writing till today was
From your beginning of your writing till it was wrapped and ready to go to the
I
theater.
would say, gosh, it was probably between 2 to 3 years.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's actually not that terribly long of an amount of time.
It's not. I know writers who have the most brilliant scripts that just sit there for years waiting for the right moment for it to happen. It's this business is really hard, especially with all the strikes that happened and
Yeah.
all of that, and the business is changing so much. So I was so lucky. We finished it. We wrapped it before the strikes. It was
Good.
like almost to the day. It was kind of amazing. So yeah, so it's relatively quick.
Yeah, it really is. And going through it, this seems to be more of a comedy type story, but listening to some of the stuff, I kind of almost expected until I started to see some of the clips that it to be a bit more on the darker side. I think, one, did you intend it to be comedy? And if you did or didn't, you have some of the exact same qualities that I've noticed with your husband coming through, because he can write the most dead straight, serious movie, The Patriot being an example, but yet there's still that Dean Devlin stamp in there that if you're familiar with his work, you can catch it coming through in little spots. So did you intend this to be a comedy, or?
I didn't. So when I first started writing it, it was very melodramatic almost. It was I was recalling all the pain I went through and the identity, and it's all real. All of that was real. But then I realized myself as a filmmaker, when you put on that other hat, I don't want to be watching that stuff. Like, to me, I feel like life for most of us is pretty difficult right now. And the world is so heavy and what's happening on the outside. And I want to turn my brain off at the end of the night. I want to just have some levity, some joy, some happiness. And the way I look at the world and the way I deal with how hard things are is I laugh about a lot of stuff. My humor, my comedy, I can comment on the world and how insane things are right now. So I decided to lean more into that. And the more I did, the more fun I had writing it. And my daughter, it was so cute. She was in 2nd grade at the time. She was on the homeschool Zoom. She was watching in her art class a piece about this artist. And of course, I'm not going to be able to remember his name right now because I have memory issues at my age. But
don't we all, honey? You're fine.
Whatever. But he made a comment that if you don't have a sense of humor, you lack a sense of perspective. And when he said that, I was like, yes, Wayne Thibault, that's his name, the artist Wayne Thibault. And he did very whimsical paintings of cakes. And they're hanging in the Museum of Modern Art. I mean, it's like cakes. It was all pastries. And that was his whole thing, that if you can't look at the world with humor, you can't really see what's really happening. So that's really the direction I went in with it. And the more fun I had with it, I knew like when I'm on set, we're just going to be laughing the whole time, which by the way, we were. And Linda would crack me up more than anyone in my life, that I ruined many, many takes just like bursting like laughter because of how funny she was. So yeah, I think I love seeing all the screenings and hearing everyone laugh. It makes me so happy
So
to just,
you're providing a joy and enjoyment to everybody else. So
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
can definitely see that. Um, I know that both Hannah and your other daughter were in this. What did they think to be acting in a show that mom wrote?
They're used to it. I don't think they're
Oh
impressed
yeah, they are, but
at all.
yeah.
Hannah is actually in one of the funniest scenes in the movie. If you just keep your eyes open for it, it's a little cameo, but it's probably one of the funniest moments of the movie. It happens in the supermarket, in the grocery store when I'm on the phone with my mom. So that's Hannah. At the beginning, Penny, there is a flashback scene of a Bat Mitzvah. It's a very Jewish theme movie because I'm Jewish. And so she's at the beginning and she's one of these like naughty little girls at the temple, and she says dork to one of the boys. So
Uh-oh.
just like these little like side things. I couldn't get Dean to be in it. Oh well.
No, he's so camera shy anyway. Half the time you have
Yeah,
to pull him in front.
he is.
Um, Speaking of funniness, you guys actually got Tim Russ in this.
Yes.
And if you know Tim Russ's personality, on camera, he's, he can be complete straight, deadpan, but you get him off camera and he's crazy. So I got to see some of that coming through when he was, opposite with Linda. It was
Yeah.
really kind of fun.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's another person that just like, oh my God, this blessing just came into our life. And I do
Mhm.
all these screenings and they're like, how did you get a Vulcan in your movie?
Mhm, there you go. Mhm.
Yeah, pure luck, pure luck. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like
Oh, he
brilliant.
is.
And he's also a musician. He
Mhm.
performs with his band like constantly. Gosh, I mean, I was surrounded by really, really good people. Dante Bosco, he's, Rufio in Hook and Avatar or The Last Airbender. I don't know is the name, I don't know. But no, I had some good people with me.
You definitely had some good people with you.
Yeah.
Um, in going forward, you had mentioned one, you've already written a couple other things,
Mhm.
but we already know you're a producer, and you just kind of slid in saying that you now have started directing some shorts. Are
Yeah.
you going to be directing maybe the next movie that you write?
I probably will. I probably will. I was considering for a beat directing this one, but I figured that I'm wearing too many hats, and
Yeah.
we filmed it was too short. There was too much writing on it for my first writing thing with me in it, with Linda. I'm like, I can't do this on top of it. I can't just, I, it scared me too much, but I think for the next one, I won't be in it and I might just direct because it's really fun to just be behind the camera. I love that part of the business. It's nice to not have to be the actor and be on screen and be worried
Screen.
about my looks and all of that. It's so tiring. It's like life is too short.
Oh, it definitely is. Um, when you started writing this, obviously it was probably a cathartic thing because of what you had just found out. But did any of that, or has any of that now that the movie is going to be released, here very shortly? I believe October 3rd is the release
Yeah.
date.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be on AMC, if I remember correctly, but it's in select theaters.
AMC theaters. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nationwide.
okay. So I thought it was going to only be in select theaters, but it looks like it's going to be nationwide now.
Yeah.
So that's
Select
amazing.
nationwide.
Yeah. But now that all of this is coming to a head, are you starting to get welled up of more of the old emotion, or is it like you're letting go?
Well, it's very funny. I've said this on previous podcasts that I've done. Throughout the whole process of the writing, the pre-production, the producing, all of it, all I focused on was my family and how they're going to feel about me talking about all of this stuff. I was so concerned, and my mother, and I was so worried about that. And then all of a sudden, about a week ago, I'm like, oh my God, I'm telling my own story. This is kind of crazy. I just
Yeah.
didn't realize it because it was all about the movie. And now I'm like, oh, wow. So this is like this part of the process, the publicizing and the talking about it and telling everyone, like, this is really, my story. This has become, I guess, the cathartic part that I wasn't expecting. This has been the like, I don't know if it's the most stressful part, but it's definitely, it's arising a lot of anxiety in me. This part of it, which I wasn't even expecting, because you would think it would be just the writing of it, but it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I was writing a movie. I was creating this thing, and now I'm going to be producing this movie, and now I'm going to be acting in this movie. It's like, wait a second, this movie is about me, like actually
Yeah.
about me.
And all
Well,
your
it
friends.
just it brings up everything that you went through, and then you relive it again.
Exactly.
Good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And because every screening I've had, we do a Q&A, and then there is a line of people who need to tell me their DNA story. It's like,
I got mine done, and I just said, this is what it is.
no, I love this. Like, it's really incredible how many people have either experienced this themselves,
Mhm.
or a person close to them, or someone in their family. It's touching everyone right now.
Yeah.
And this is the first movie that is about this. I also realized in one of my last screenings, one of the women said to me, and I didn't realize this, my age is the first age that all of this kind of donor, all of this in vitro stuff started happening. I'm also the same age as the DNA test coming out. So it's
Yeah.
like people like me who've been through this, and it's a double whammy of this, like, truth bombs, that it's just like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because definitely at the time I was conceived, people weren't telling their children they
Nope.
were adopted.
Nope. Mm-mm.
It was better, like, let's just not talk about it, or conceived through in vitro or other means. It was just, let's just not say anything, and let's just kind of, pretend that this was all natural and no medical intervention was needed, and never in a million years thinking that years later we would have these DNA tests that have become so popular, exposing all of this. It's kind of, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. And even, looking into DNA testing with other things, they're now actually going forward and doing other things with the DNA testing, like, finding out maybe old cold cases for murders or lost people. So it's
Yes,
really kind of fascinating how much it's grown within these years.
absolutely. Oh my gosh, I am such a true crime junkie. Like,
Same
that's
here.
all I
Yeah.
really watch. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, it's very exciting with that. Also, it's so funny. So in real life, when you take a DNA test, it's like 4 to 6 weeks, or 6 to 8 weeks for you to get
Yeah.
your results back. Well, in my movie, it takes place over the course of 2 weeks. So we're like, we'll just call it rapid DNA, and like, you get your results back like instantaneous. Well, now with all of these cold cases, there's a company called Rapid DNA that they are using.
Did they give you
Yeah,
any stipend or anything for mentioning that?
They should, and hopefully I don't, like, get sued for using their name, although I think I coined it first.
There you go. So you need
Yeah.
money from them.
I'm gonna have a lawsuit on my hands.
Mhm.
I'm going to toss it to Marcia.
Yeah, I've been really listening and fascinated by Michael, your story, as well as what we're talking about today. Um, you're right, Lisa. I think almost every family has some kind of DNA related story. Mine is not quite related to DNA. It's sort of more, this is what happened. But, I'm one of 5 children.
Mhm.
And I found out in my adult life that my father had a whole different family
Oh
while
my
we were
God.
growing up. So I have 5 additional siblings
Oh my
apart,
God.
which in one way is very challenging. I have to admire somebody who has 2 families and managed to keep them going.
Wait, at the same time?
Yes.
That's amazing. That's crazy.
So that's a whole other. It didn't involve DNA, but it, you know, I can laugh
Wow.
about it now. But I was hearing about the DNA testing and how it takes 6 to 8 weeks, or now they're doing it more rapidly. I was thinking, okay, when people start doing their DNA test, they go to their family and say, okay, I'm doing a DNA test. You better tell me the secrets now.
Seriously.
So they're all coming out of the closet.
So
Yeah, there's no
did
secrets anymore.
did you tell your family that you were doing the DNA test? What?
There was, I never questioned my upbringing. I never questioned who I was. I never, I wasn't doing this to find some secret, or I thought there was something not right about me. There was just
Mhm,
never. So it was just when I got the results back,
mhm,
that's when I went to my mom and I'm like, not only did it only say I was half Jewish, but it said that I had a grandfather who was exactly my age living in Long Island.
that'll
So,
blow your mind.
yeah. So there was some weird truth in that because I was from Long Island. I
Mhm.
was exactly that age, but like, how could it be my grandfather? So I reached out to him. He reached out to the company, and the company, they said DNA doesn't lie, but people do.
Mhm.
Ooh.
And yeah, and they said because we were the same age, I was either his granddaughter or half sister.
Yes, that's what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
that was a bit
Yikes.
of, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what really started the whole investigation,
Hmm.
the whole wild journey.
Wow.
Down
And
the
the
rabbit hole.
humor comes through. As I said, I've seen the trailer more than a couple of times, and I like when your sister says, "Well, I don't believe in DNA,"
So funny. Yeah, but
which
he's a wacky character.
which also has a ring of truth, because I actually know, we probably know people who question the validity of DNA tests and the whole.
Yeah, I mean, people
Mhm,
question science, it's
mhm,
just not to
mhm,
go down that road. But
mhm,
no, I would, in this movie, like, not only am I talking about DNA, I'm talking about family, but I'm also talking about inclusivity,
mhm,
um, live and let live, chosen family, how people identify. I mean, this movie says a lot. And I hope when people see it, they can connect with it on some level because of that.
mhm. And
Because
your choosing a director must have been an interesting task as well, because it's such a personal story for you. So choosing Matt Son, as we know, he's done The Office. He's done, how did that come about?
well, I went to a friend who's very big. She's a big comedy TV writer. And she said, Lisa, I have one person for you, and this is your director. I know you, I know him, and the two of you need to work together. And so she recommended him. And he couldn't be more perfect. His personality is the kindest, most gentle, loving human. So to take my story, he knew that like I was his partner in this, and he was an incredible collaborator, and just he honored and respected me and my story. And at the same time, he brought his comedy chops to it, that he's used to working fast. He's used to doing these TV shows. He knows every camera, every lens, so us together, it couldn't have gone better. I was so lucky with him.
In the beginning, you talked about the beginning of the movie where you are doing your own bat mitzvah, and you is that fear of speaking? Is that part of you, or?
Yeah, not to the extent that it's in the movie, but oh yes, I have had times where I've had to speak in front of our preschool, like me and like 3 other parents, where like my throat would close up and like tears would be coming out of my eyes, and Dean would just be sitting there laughing at me. Like, how is this possible that I have such a fear of speaking when I'm an actress?
You're an actress, yeah.
It's just one of those weird things with me, but I've kind of like, as I've been producing and presenting my movie, Say My Name, like I was in London doing a screening of that, and suddenly our foreign sales woman just turns to me and she goes, "Okay, present the movie." I'm like, "Wait, me?" And I almost died. And so then the next thing I know, I'm in front of this room of buyers and talking about the movie and the shoot, and then it suddenly started going away. And the more I did it, the easier it's gotten. I don't enjoy it, but I'm able to do it now, whereas I wasn't like that years ago.
Well, I'm a big fan of Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld, and he does a little stand-up thing before one of his episodes, which he talks about the fear of public speaking, and how they did a survey where the fear of public speaking is the number one a fear of many people, and death is number 2. He says, like, death is number 2. So in a funeral, you would rather be in the coffin than doing the eulogy.
I get it. Not to put that out to the universe, but I get it.
So with that, I'm going back to Michael.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I had one of the chat questions finally came through from Roger Noriega. Looking at one's own test, you find connections that you would never expect. And then he said, because of DNA testing, I found a sister as well.
Amazing. You see, I'm telling you, everyone, it's incredible.
That's because cool. What you were saying about the grandfather, it said someone that I knew after I knew who my birth mother was. It said one of her half sisters was my half sister. And I go, that's not right. I know that can't be right, because then that would mean something else, and I didn't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
But you really have to go through with percentages and figure it out. And it was correct. She was my half aunt. So, that made total sense then. But the the percentages were the same. But, when you branch off, it cuts it in half, cuts it in half, cuts it in half. So, I mean, when you get the further back you go, sometimes it can be a third cousin, a great grandfather, or whatever. I mean,
but it's cool if you do multiple tests, because it'll give you different results, but it also tells you more family.
Yeah, I did 3 when I was looking for my dad. I did 3 different tests and got 3 different sets, because it depends where people get their tests done.
Exactly.
I found someone who I thought was my cousin on my dad's side. And after I did find out who my dad really was, ended up, she was my half aunt.
Interesting.
Because it was my father was her half brother.
Okay.
And she did, she knew that, but she didn't know that man was my father until later, because I told her I thought it was this other guy. And so, and sadly, she had not put the exact truth on her profile. And that's what got me going to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Because of what she put on her profile. And,
Mm.
you know, when I actually talked to her on the phone finally, and I said something to her, and then she came back to me saying, oh no, that was what name my mother went by. That wasn't her birth name.
Mm.
And I went, oh, and guess what? That name was that other branch of the family that I couldn't figure out.
Interesting.
So, you know, it all worked. But I'll go back to Liz now. This will be our final round of fun. But and Lisa, I'll say this now in case, you know, I don't get to. We would really like you to come back to talk about some of your other projects, because I said some of our fans really want to talk about some of your other movies and things. So
Okay.
we'd love to have you. So go ahead, Liz.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to say, in the aspects of wrapping up, one thing you kind of touched on before, but now that you have done this, so many other people out there are doing this. I am hoping that they wind up having a different viewpoint of themselves, and you never know. Somebody who, I hate to say this, but somebody who, an ethnic group or a sexual orientation or something that you may not agree with or even more hatred to, suddenly you realize those are in your family tree as well. Are
Yes.
you going to reevaluate the way, not you per se, but the person, are they going to reevaluate, their thought process?
Mhm.
Excuse me. And then I also wanted to kind of copy Michael as far as I want to say thank you so much for doing this. You have blessed us with so much time, and I know you're an incredibly busy person.
It's
And
okay. This is my
we
joy.
really, really want to have you back for
Mm.
all Lisa questions, not Lisa questions.
Okay.
Marcia.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to recognize the young children, the young people who play your children in the movie, Dylan and Lumi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're incredible. Lumi is actually on a Disney show right now called Electric Bloom on Disney Plus. She's doing amazing. Dylan Chance has become like my third daughter. I love these kids so much. She lives in Texas. She loved cursing in the movie. You'll see she curses a lot. She uses a lot of curse words. Um, but yeah, you'll see. A main theme of the movie is we're all one. Not to seem all like airy fairy, but if you ever do a genetic test and you think you are something, or if there is a group that you don't identify with, it's like, oh, wait a second, I am that group. It just blows your mind, and that's a huge theme of this movie. And at the end of the day, we are all one big happy family. That's really it.
Yeah. When I was just one last thing, when I was viewing the trailer over, and throughout the trailer were these words that they put together. One big surprise has turned strangers into an unexpected family.
Yeah.
And as Liz was saying, it kind of is all of us. It always speaks to all of us, and would speak to. And I can't wait to see the whole movie. And
Thank you.
hopefully, as Michael said, maybe you'll come back and talk to us about the reaction of people to this movie and all the other things that you have done. So
Aw,
thank you
so
Lisa,
much.
for coming.
Thanks. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again for coming. And I know you're short on time. We're getting close to what we said we'd do. And as they both said, you are a busy woman. and that's good. That's good. And we look forward to your next project, and hope you can come back. So everybody out there, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.